Hi gals, are you ready to do some fun stamping? We're gonna make just a really simple card using our stamp set called Abstract Impressions. So we're gonna just use this fun set, it's been our catalog for a couple of years, and make just a fun card right now. Just a little bit of encouragement will go a long way to just make us all feel better right now. There might be just a special someone you want to send a card to that you know hasn't been able to connect with anybody for a little while. So let's just make a fun little card. So I'm going to use our photopolymer, this is called a stamp, and I'm going to ink it up with one of our little ink spots. This is just a handy little ink set that we have, our ink pad that we have. It's also in one of our in colors, and so these colors will retire in just a few months, the end of May. So if you like these colors that I'm demonstrating tonight, you may want to go ahead and make an order and place one for these colors that we have. This one's called Lovely Lipstick that I'm using. And you watched me stamp off and then stamp on, so I just made sure I got a really good stamped impression before I put it onto my paper. Now I'm going to use our Lovely Lipstick, and I'm going to stamp the detail part of the flower. Now this time I'm going to stamp off again, but this time I'm going to stamp onto my card because I want to just add some dimension to this card by giving it a two-tone look without having to use two different colors of stamp pads and try to figure out if they ink well together. I know they do because I'm using the same color. This one is our Grapefruit Grove. So I'm going to stamp again. This time I'm going to ink it up. Again, I'm going to make sure that I have good coverage. I'm going to practice on my paper. It looks like I do need a little bit more ink. So this time what I want to do is I'm going to stamp off the main parts of the flowers. Stamp them around. I think I'm going to add just a little bit more of those. These little ink spots I'm using are really handy if you're traveling, if you don't have a large stamp space, if, again, you like to just, have an easy tool to use. Sometimes these ink spots are a little bit easier than our larger stamp pads that we have. I use both. Now, again, I'm going to do the detail. So this time I'm going to stamp. I inked it up. Let me practice. Okay, I've got good coverage. This time I'm not going to stamp off before I stamp onto my little flowers, so my detail pieces really line up. This is what's great about these photopolymer stamps is you can see right through them. So you can line them up pretty well. We also have a great tool that's called the Stamparatus that really helps us get it just right. But again, these are pretty abstract flowers, so even if I don't get it on there just right, it looks great. And each card looks different. Each card has its own personality. So I always say it's handcrafted. You can't do it wrong. All right, so there are my flowers. I am going to add one more flower, and this is with our Pineapple Punch color. It's a nice, bright, cheerful yellow. Again, right now, I think we all could use some cheer. And I'm going to add that fun flower, I think, right up here. And that one I just did solid, straight on there. Now we're going to do some leaves. And sometimes oops, that's the butterfly. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll use the same block for two little stamps. The blocks I've been using, again, you're going to find in our catalog. There are our great acrylic blocks that we sell. I think I'm going to add this little leaf just right there, just full strength, nice big bold leaf. And I'm going to add this guy down here. I'm going to add one more of those. Okay, there you go. We have a beautiful, just a little garden right there of some flowers. But let's put our card together. I have a base that you're going to see the measurements are. It is 5.5 wide by 8.5 inches long. You're going to score it at 4 1/4. That's the base of our card. Then we have our lovely lipstick cardstock. Again, what's so great about our stamp pads and our paper is they're the same colors. You don't have to guess if they match. They go great together. So that is a blessing. So it makes our crafting a lot easier. So I'm going to attach that. I'm going to attach my base, but before I attach my base, I want to add some twine and I want to add a saying. So here's the twine we're going to use. This is just our linen thread. And I want to use our fun new Label Me Fancy punch right here. That kind of shines, doesn't it? Okay, sorry about that. So we're going to use our fun Label Me Fancy punch, and what you're going to find is the saying that I want to use is longer than my punch. So let me show you a fun little trick when that happens. So my saying is about 3 inches long. Well, I measured, I punched out on a scrap piece of paper. I just punched out my label here so I could figure out the width of paper. So the width of that is 1 1/8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a scrap piece of paper at 1 1/8 inch. And this is our great new trimmer that we have. So again, I'm going to cut it at 1 1/8. What's great is I can measure it on both sides here. If you can see that. So there's my 1, and there is my 1/8 right there. And there's 2 blades. This gray one is just going to score my paper. This dark charcoal one is going to cut my paper. So let me cut that. And now I have a strip of paper that's 1 1/8. And it's probably longer than 3 inches actually. Yeah, it's longer than 3 inches. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to double check, make sure that's right. Looks like I cut it maybe a little thin. Not bad though. And I'm going to use our blueberry bushel. Going to ink up our words. I thought these words were very fitting for right now. It says, if flowers were hugs, I'd send you 1,000. I think right now, again, hugs, if we could just hug our loved ones, that would be just a blessing. So this is a great saying. This saying as well comes in this abstract impression set. So I'm going to just stamp this pretty centered onto my paper. There we go. And then I'm going to punch it out. So this is what I do to punch it out. Normally you would do this, right? You'd put your paper in there, but as you can see, I would end up cutting off my saying. So I'm going to come in this way. I'm going to tuck my paper in there. I'm going to punch. And then I'm going to turn it to the other side. And punch it. And I have my saying. So that's pretty clever, pretty nice to use. So now let's go ahead and put it together. Now I'm going to use some dimensionals. These hold up our images just a little bit off the paper, which is quite nice. These are also in our Stampin' Up! Catalog. You can go again to my website right here and you can find all of our products there. So that's nice. Okay, I'm going to use 3 dimensionals. This is just again going to pop up our saying on our card. I'm going to go ahead and use some adhesive. This little adhesive machine that I'm going to use is not in our catalog. That's just handy adhesive that I use. I've had this little adhesive gun for several years now, I have to say. I've been selling Stampin' Up! Stamps, ladies, for over 20 years. I have always enjoyed coloring and just playing with paper. There's something that's calming about that for me. And so I have 2 daughters and I have 3 granddaughters and 1 grandson. And I have to say, they have seen their Gma craft and create. My daughters don't even know, I don't think, what it's like to not have me create and craft something. I just love to play with paper. I love to sew. I dropped my scissors, ladies, so I'm gonna get my scissors here. There they are, way over there. Just one moment. So yet again, I have done this craft for several years now. I used to do childcare. I had kiddos in my house, and I went to a Stampin' Up! Class, and I came home so excited. I had so much fun, and my husband is the one who really encouraged me to sell it. He said that just having interaction with other women, getting out of the house, and then again, just doing something that I enjoyed so much, he really felt like would be a healthy choice for me to get out and engage with other gals. And sure enough, he's right. So again, I've been doing this for over 20 years. The products are great. It's a great little company to work for. I shouldn't say little. It's gotten quite large over the years. I think I'm gonna make a little bow and not just a thing. So yes, I can tell you that these products are great and fun to use. Let me try to make this little bow. Didn't work so great. Let me try again here. You can see that I got my linen just a little bit loose, but when I tape it on the back of the card, I will attach it nice and tight and it will be fine. And that's not working out, so we're gonna just leave it like that, leave it a knot, and it'll be totally fine. So what I'm gonna do, you can see I tried earlier and didn't get my card quite right. So that's one thing that's super nice about paper. There's always two sides. I tell gals that all the time when they say, oh, I made a mistake. I said, if you got two tries, you got two sides of that paper, so feel free. So again, I just kind of looped my linen right there to make it a little tighter for me. So then I'm gonna put my stamped image there. I'm gonna use my little tool here just to peel off this backing. Sometimes it's hard for me to peel this backing off. So I use this tool quite often to help me pick things up. So I am going to put my words, I think a little bit low because I don't want to cover up my flowers that I have going on here. Actually, I have to tell you, I think my words are a little long, so I'm going to just turn it. I'm going to just do it like this. We're going to put our flowers up there, and then I have some rhinestones that I'm going to add. These are our fun Noble Peacock rhinestones. And let's see, I think I want to use a blue one. So I'm going to add this blue one, I think I'm going to add that just kind of right here on my twine. I think that looks fun to do that. And then I do want to add one more stamped image. I am going to put a little butterfly. We're going to add a butterfly up here to our card. And I'm trying to decide what color I want to make that butterfly. I think I might do it in the yellow, in the pineapple punch. So I'm going to ink them up, but again, I'm going to practice. I'm going to just do this. And we're going to do his wings right here. And I think I'm going to do his body. Whoops, I put that upside down. We're going to do his body in our blueberry bushel. I'm going to move this card so I can see it a little better. Whoop, I forgot to practice, didn't I? But it turned out fine. All right, so there is just a fun little simple cards. If flowers were hugs, I'd send you 1,000. Just a fun little simple way to encourage someone in our season that we're in right now. Hope you're having a great evening. I hope the measurements helped. Don't forget to check out my site if you'd like. And I really just hope you had a great night.